All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to United States Cup 2025. We're in a winners bracket round of 16 match here between New Jersey and Oregon, seed 5 versus seed 12. I'm Dio. I'm joined by It's Pigeon for this match. How's it going, Pigeon?
Going pretty good, actually. I'm pretty excited for this one. I think that these two teams here in the winners bracket are going to put up a really good match. I do think, especially considering how both of them did last week, that they are definitely up to par as far as their seeds go, if not maybe a little underseeded for Oregon. New Jersey coming in at seed 5 and Oregon at seed 11, I believe, this year, or seed 12. So it should be pretty close, hopefully. And I do think that these two teams have their own strengths, definitely. Of course, Oregon coming off of two of their players winning 4-digit World Cup. I don't believe New Jersey had any players on that team for USA, so they've got a little bit of synergy going along themselves. So we'll see how that goes.
I'll see which kind of D-ranker synergy is better here, Yoshi and Slowdive or Eddie and Luna's Tabby. Definitely I think interesting matchup, especially because New Jersey has kind of changed faces a lot recently. You have the exit of longtime captain and player Miles from the New Jersey roster this year, and Yoshi Lover kind of taking up the mantle, but with a lot of really high-ranking players, Siryu and Ryu Yamada, both 2 digits, Fame Time top 200. So there's a lot of really solid mechanics players on this team now, where before New Jersey were kind of this like tournament player core that had a lot of just very established tournament players. Now you have some of the same, but also some different sorts of players also on that team. Definitely more focused on the mechanics than before. Whereas Oregon, you've got this kind of Pacific Northwest thing going on with Washington, where they're very, very strong at gimmick in general. You have Bashi, Luna's Tabby, Tynamo on this team, all very, very good reading players. I think similar story there for Cheng. And then Eddie and Rinko Shirokane very, very strong on the mechanics for this team, but a little bit lacking, I think, for a speed roster for Oregon. So maybe we'll see New Jersey take a little bit of advantage of that. Overall, I think, yeah, these are just really strong teams. So this should be a good match.
Yeah, hoping to be a really good one. As you mentioned, they've got their own strengths. Maybe a little bit weaker on the overall speed aspect in Oregon. So could see something like what is it, Nomad, or is it Free Mod 2 this week? I'm thinking of last week, yes. For the Nomad 4. Yeah, could see a Free Mod 2 ban with regards to New Jersey just having some really solid tappers. I know Siryu is an incredible mechanics player. So definitely a little bit scary to have to go into that, and maybe just want to get rid of that. And yeah, there's a lot of gimmick for Oregon to pick into with the CS 7.7 map and some, oh my gosh, what is the song? CS 7.7 map and the AR6 Nomad 5. So, it's warm-ups.
While you were farming, I was busy on the skill grind. Yesterday, I've seen your mom on double time. I squeeze my keys with ease with no C's.
What?
I have the expertise in my homies.
I don't even know what to say. This warm-up just completely destroyed my train of thought.
Look, I kind of expected with warm-ups at this point. I was not even expecting to really talk about the matchup at all. So the fact that you actually came prepared with some stuff to talk about, and rosters are kind of interesting for this matchup because we had somewhat of a shift for New Jersey. That's already starting this match off better in the casting department than most of the other matches I have casted this weekend so far. So,
yeah,
solid stuff. I have nothing of value to add during this. I'm eating some little mini naans with roasted garlic hummus. Pretty good, actually.
Oh my goodness. Wait, so is there roasted garlic pieces in there, or it's hummus made with roasted garlic?
It's hummus. I mean, it's typical hummus made with primarily
with garlic,
but with roasted garlic in there. Yeah, not pieces and chunks, but there's noticeable garlic flavor. I gotta brush my teeth. So.
Is this even the same warm-up? It is. What's going on?
No one knows. Warm-ups are incomprehensible. There's no reason to expect anything like look at Rinse right now. Tell me this is not peak warm-up gameplay. Look at Rinse. He's popping the hell off. Look at him go.
Yeah, he's having a blast. Well, he is using the hidden modifier, so maybe he just can't see the notes. Include out?
Inside out?
I don't know what he just typed.
I don't know what he's saying.
He just
Whatever. Anyway.
No, yeah. Well, that's one of the warm-ups.
First warm-up's done. Thanks, Oregon.
We got another.
Yes, I see. You got PP playing Harumachi.
Now we get another questionable
Wonderful
quality song from New Jersey this time.
Squidward Yell.
I can have nothing to add. This is like a random 8-star. This is 11 star. It's 11
whatever.
star. We're playing an 11-star warm-up map that is 55 seconds long. Lock in. That's all.
I think we kind of already established Oregon's probably going to go for the gimmick stuff. New Jersey going to go for more mechanics stuff. Both teams got good players for both. I think a little bit more gimmick favored for Oregon versus New Jersey, but I mean, Yoshi Lover 456, a very well-known gimmick player of his own, as well as, you know, having good support. I'm trying to think. I think Slow Dive plays gimmick, if I remember correctly. Slow Dive is water. So,
oh, Slow Dive is water. Okay, well that makes sense.
yes.
Yeah, water's a really good hidden player. Anyway, given that this is 11 stars, I think you can expect the winner of this to be picking into mechanics and
Yeah.
you know, skill cap more. So yeah, definitely the winner of this, looking really solid here. And they have their lowest ranked player in for New Jersey right now, 5-digit Yoshi Lover 456. So if that doesn't say asserting dominance, I don't know what does. Still winning it right now, just barely though. Nobody is hitting a damn thing on this warm up. Yeah.
I mean, Bashi kind of
great
hit
job,
that
New
ending.
Jersey.
Bashi was hitting that ending. I saw that. That was like 30 combo or something. Yeah. Wow. Hey, I mean, we're gonna get into picks and
anyway.
bans here. Yeah. Just two completely mental deteriorating warm-ups.
I'm gonna
Does
go ahead
look
and
like Oregon won the pick ban order. They won the roll, so they're gonna get to choose between those two options.
all right, well,
It's gonna be the second pick.
yeah, second pick for Oregon. I think that's the wrong decision. I like
would
first
agree.
pick in a best of 9 specifically.
Yeah, getting to guarantee that your team gets at least 3 picks, even like in a matchup like this one where you expect to win some of your own picks too, is always such a good advantage, especially if you know that like you're not worried about having to give up first or second ban. Then just take the first pick instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree there. So
Ooh, GT2 ban. It's gonna be the AR 10.3 pick here this week. no real tapping mechanics, but as far as DT mechanics go, it's a very DT1-esque style map and slot pulling, so get rid of the 10.3. Makes it a little bit comfier for these Oregon players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just makes sense for Oregon. Like, again, if you just go back and look at the roster for New Jersey, Siru, Ryu Yamada, and Fame Time seems like really good for DT aim in particular compared to the roster for Oregon, right? It's not like this is a particularly hard DT aim map, but the comfort is absolutely there for these players. So I think it makes a lot of sense to just ban that out. And from New Jersey's side, I feel like you're banning out something that's more like alt control focused, I want to say, because I think you still do pretty well on reading maps and tech maps in general. I feel like a lot of the players on the side of Oregon are going to be strong on stuff like the Hard Rock 2, the Fremont 3, so maybe one of those is a solid ban. I don't even think you're necessarily too worried about something like the Hidden 2 or something like the Nomad 3. So it is going to be the Hidden 2 after all as the ban for New Jersey, which I can't fault because, like, yeah, it's a really hard map, and a couple of the players on Oregon are going to be really, really strong on that. And if your hidden players are not particularly strong on awkward aim hidden in particular, then it seems like a pretty good ban.
Yeah, not the worst ban. I would have, like you said, the Hard Rock 2 was definitely seeming like the correct choice, or at least the most straightforward path for ban from New Jersey. But Hidden 2 is definitely understandable. It's one of the more uncomfortable, awkward aim maps in this pool. Like, yes, it's still aim and it is hidden, but there's just something about it that makes it so much harder to get a full combo on than your standard aim hidden pick. But we're gonna go right into the tapping here from New Jersey into the Fremont 2. It's gonna be 255 BPM, and it's just pure shred.
Yeah, not a lot else to say. It's 255 BPM speed. Let's get the tapping rosters in. You already know whether or not you win or lose this pick. The extra warm-up's not going to help. Just get the people in already. Let's go. New Jersey with, again, the 2 digits and a 3-digit probably coming in for this one. Whereas Oregon, Eddie, Rinko, Shirokane, probably Cheng? Not really sure who the last one is on Oregon's side. It's not going to be Tynamo, not going to be Bashi. Maybe Luna Stabby? I don't know. But it's one of Luna Stabby or Chang, I think.
Yeah, so I think Schwartz can play this, but she probably will opt for Chang to play over her. I think it's going to be Eddie on the Hard Rock, Rinko Shirokane on the Nomad, and then either Chang or Schwartz on the Hidden. As we await the final player here for New Jersey.
Yeah, indeed, Cheng does come in for Oregon, waiting on the last mechanics player, Ryu Yamada, for New Jersey. No surprises whatsoever about either of these rosters locked in for both of these teams, as Tynamo and Yoshi benchwarm the bottom of the lobby, exit out as the speed map starts up. Not staying in, either of them, for this map. Good luck, have fun, they're out. Let's get into the first map of the match between New Jersey and Oregon. New Jersey, first pick, looks really solid for them here. We have the Hard Rock only and Hidden only, one for each side. No overmods whatsoever, which I think is probably solid on this map. Hard Rock for Ryu Yamada and Eddie, Hidden for Fame Time and Cheng, no mod for Siru and Rinko Shirokane.
Yeah, it's going to be the mod combinations that I predicted here for these two teams, and we're going to get into it. This one's kind of slow at the beginning, but it just goes right away here now. As immediate drops coming out from Fame Tai, going to be the first of all. No trades on the side of Oregon, and probably won't see any necessarily just yet. Accuracy advantage is favoring Oregon here. We've got two players on the 99.4s. Same time still struggling, but finally the trade comes out from Rinko Shirokane, and that is going to help negate some of the score lead that Oregon was building for themselves. But same time, still struggling on this hidden, and now especially with Siru dropping, there's just one FC remaining on the side of New Jersey to 2 for Oregon.
Yeah, this was looking real bad for New Jersey in the first half of this map. Both Siru and Same Time finding the breaks. Another couple of breaks come through for both of them, and this is just kind of disastrous, actually. Double full combo still going for Oregon, so Ryu Yamada is completely matched by Eddie on the Hard Rock, or rather Cheng on the Hidden is a little bit closer in terms of the score, I think. But then Rinko Shirokane is still holding big combo. Cheng does find the miss, but there's just no extra combo on the side of New Jersey to help pull this back. Rinko Shirokane by himself is out-comboing both Siru and Fame Time. Eddie is matching the FC from Ryu Yamada, so even with the break there from Cheng, it's not nearly enough. They need, I think, a three-way wipe on the side of Oregon and Ryu Yamada to FC to bring this back for the side of New Jersey, because there's just no combo at all on the rest of the team. I mean, Siru has a little bit, but this is really disastrous for a first pick here. Maybe you gotta hope for New Jersey it's just some first map nerves or some unlucky shit misses. It kind of seems like it for Siru on the Nomad. Fame Time definitely struggling a little bit more on the Hidden. There goes Eddie finally, but the map is basically over, and that is break point on the first pick for Oregon.
Ooh, it's going to be an FC for Ryu Yamada as well. So still a solid score coming out from New Jersey, and honestly not too bad supporting scores either. But just as far as the first pick goes, it's unfortunate to see it just kind of crumble the way that it did. Oregon looking really solid and comfy on this mechanics pick, and I have to imagine New Jersey probably had some pretty good scores on their team sheet as well, right? This is the kind of team that you would expect to be doing good on this map, but just did not work out this time, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily dictate how the rest of the match is going to go.
Nope, this means that New Jersey will have to switch pick strategies entirely. They're going to start picking into aim now instead of speed. And if they pick speed again, it's a tactical mistake. Whereas Oregon now is picking the Hidden One, which we have found out recently gets muted and copyrighted in YouTube tracks. So we are going to try and talk over it as much as physically possible. It's M24 by Yuki Kajiura, mapped by Arash. It's on that set, but it's Flame Haze's extra diff. AR 9.6, CS4, OD 8.8, 2 minutes and 7 seconds long, 160 BPM, 6.25 star rating on this Hidden One pick in the USC 2025 round of 16 map pool. This is primarily a flow aim pick, and again, we're going to try and talk as much as possible over this map so that the VOD does not get muted, especially during the map itself. But in the meantime, yeah, this is just to talk about the pick a little bit, something that's really, really flow aim heavy on super low BPM. It's got kind of that fake alt flow aim hidden sort of vibe going on for this pick, which I think is a pretty solid first pick for Oregon, especially after the Hidden 2 first ban from New Jersey. I would be a little surprised not to see Yoshi Lover come in for something like this, just because he is a very solid Hidden player. But it seems like neither Yoshi nor Tynamo are going to be in for this pick. On the side of New Jersey, we have Rinse, Slowdive, Fame Time coming in for this map. And on the side of Oregon, we have Luna Tabby, also known as Schwartz, Bashiman, and Cheng coming in for the blue team on their own first pick.
Yep, this one makes a lot of sense for both of these two teams. Again, you said that Yoshi Lover definitely could have played this. I absolutely agree. This is the kind of map where, though, that it just kind of comes down to the middle section of the map. There is one particularly nasty stream pattern that is like separated and very split apart with different groupings of 2 and 4. A lot of players tend to miss on it, and generally speaking, the teams that have any player come out through that unscathed will end up winning the point. But for the most part, this pick definitely is very difficult to play, especially if you have nerves. And some of these players on the side of New Jersey were looking pretty nervous, but right now looking pretty calm, cool, collected going into this first stream section. All players hitting it, accuracy slightly favoring New Jersey, and that's going to be helping them out here. But no, isn't going to be helping them out is going to be Waters, otherwise known as slow dive, dropping the first FC, followed shortly by their teammate Rents, and Water continuing to struggle now. 0 trades from the side of Oregon, and this is just going to continue forward here with this combo that they've got for themselves and the score lead that they've built up upon themselves.
Yeah, and the trouble for the side of New Jersey here, I mean, both teams, I think, with a player in the back who could have come in for this, but if you're not feeling great on the day, it just doesn't really matter. And unfortunately, now New Jersey completely finding breaks for all 3 of these players. Oregon still on the 3-way full combo, and that is a huge chain miss for a ton of members. Bashi the first to drop on the side of Oregon, but it is already over here. 500,000 score lead in Oregon's favor. Cheng and Luna's Tabby still holding the full combos with high 99 accuracy for Oregon here. Again, Bashi Man, the only one to have found a miss on their side, whereas all 3 players for New Jersey finding those drops at multiple points throughout this map. And yeah, this is kind of what we expected to see out of Oregon. I think the flip of expectations in these first 2 picks was Oregon winning the speed pick against New Jersey. Finally a miss to come out from Cheng as well. But Luna's Tabby now the only full combo left in the lobby. 99.8 accuracy, and there's the break finally coming through for her as well. So no FCs by the end of the map, but 2.5 million team score for Oregon versus not quite 1.5 for New Jersey. Almost the, yeah, I think 1v2 for basically any 2 players on the side of Oregon. Close enough there. Yeah, actually 1v2 for, or 2v3, excuse me, for any 2 players on the side of Oregon on that map. So yeah, the gimmick is going strong today for Oregon, and unfortunately for New Jersey, a little rusty on the mechanics, a little shaky at the start of things, gives an early lead over to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, thankfully for New Jersey, though, there isn't really another map in this pool that's got quite the same kind of funk that this Hidden One has to it. With the style of streams, at least, you do have something like the Nomad 4, which is like just 5 minutes of raw aim streams. But I mean, yeah, it's realistically, like, that one is kind of going to be expected for Oregon to be picking and as well doing really good on, which they did. Ultimately, their worst player on the pick was still better than the best player from New Jersey, but all things considered, from New Jersey, yeah, it sucks that you lost your first pick and you go down the break point and it gets consolidated, but you can get back into it really quickly. And thank you. I was just talking until we got the music.
Yeah, no, I pinged Rob to change the song again. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. And that is gonna bring us into the second pick for New Jersey. I feel like you're still picking mechanics, right? I think you can still reasonably say, okay, we probably had an underperformance on the first speed map that we picked, and indeed they are still going to pick mechanics. It's not a speed map necessarily, but it is still a tapping mechanics map. It's Martyr of the Free Word by Epica. No VOD concerns here. We can actually leave some healthy time to breathe and speak at a slightly slower pace when we're just talking about the map. It's 200 BPM streams. It's just 5 minutes of 200 BPM streams. There's not much else going on. There is a solo, I think about 2/3 of the way in, that does have some 1/3 in the section there, but aside from that, not a single other skill set in this map. It's 200 BPM stream consistency.
Yeah, very light aim aspect to this map. Still, though, the streams do get a little bit spaced. Not so far as to call them like full-on space streams, but the spacing does get a little bit. There are accelerating streams towards the end of the map that definitely, with it being 5 minutes, nerves start to get a little bit higher and higher as the length of the map gets greater. So could see some fall aparts here, and hopefully New Jersey has gotten rid of all their nerves from these first two picks. I think, you know, the Hidden One, with all the misses that they were finding, very understandable. That's the kind of map where if you aren't, you know, a team like Oregon, you're not really going to be just FCing consistently. You're going to be struggling like we saw from New Jersey, but this is a different style of flow stream map, and I do think that this pick definitely works out in favor of New Jersey here, but we'll see if they're going to be able to get something done. We get into things here. Ryu Yamada, Fame Time, and Siru going to be the lineup for New Jersey. Of course, their mechanics roster. On the other side, a little bit interesting, seeing Bashiman 741 here for Oregon in the mechanics with Rinko Shirokane and Eddie. Not that it is necessarily a blunder, but I do think that Bashiman can play this kind of a BPM for this style of map, but just would have expected someone else in his place. Does it look like we get the abort? Siru did not connect, or maybe it's just a classic Bancho.
Might just be Bancho. No aborts being called for in chat. Kind of weird that he is not loading in.
Not ideal.
One more time, I suppose. And okay, let me see if reloading the client will fix it.
Check the MP to see if Siru is even in there. I have to imagine if there hasn't been an abort yet that Siru is playing. Yeah, I mean, as far as the MP goes, it does appear that Siru is in the lobby, so we just have to assume that Siru is actually playing and the score gap isn't what it says that it is. It's a little bit confusing here, just if you're looking at the score alone, but I mean, it's just, what would a tournament be on a weekend without a couple little Bancho hiccups?
Like, what am I meant to do here?
Yeah, I don't really know.
What am I meant to do here? I'm not really sure. The client loads and shows that Siru is in the slot, but it doesn't put him in the match. Anyway, miss for Ryu Yamada. It's like the first miss that we can see at the very least. Surely, at some point, Siru actually loads in. I don't know what's going on here, and there's been no calls for an abort, no nothing, so clearly he hasn't, said something in voice chat with the team or anything. So
yeah, I mean,
he
it
just left Team
like...
VC apparently. So he may have disconnected
no.
like right at the start of the map, because that is
that's really interesting that we didn't abort. And it's much too late now to call for an abort, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, it might not even matter because Oregon's still three-way full comboing. So, like...
Right. We've got the miss
if they
from
just three-way FC, we don't need to worry about it. But it might just be his internet being down. And as long as he has a score with a timestamp, all is good anyway. OWC rules for disconnects here. So, as long as he has a score with a timestamp that matches when the other players in the lobby finished playing, I think we should be good. So we're gonna keep watching for now as we get closer and closer to the 2/3 or so diff spike, that last solo section with the 1/3 here coming up soon. Oregon, though, I mean, they are still crushing it, and 2/3 of the way in. Three-way full combo still going strong for them. FC here for Fame Time is still intact for New Jersey. Obviously unsure what kind of score Siru has, but with the three-way FC, Oregon would be ahead regardless. But there goes Eddie. Finally a miss to come through for somebody on Oregon.
Yeah, Eddie finding his first miss on the 1/3 section in the solo. Particularly tricky section and very unfortunate, but now Rinko Shirokane going to follow shortly after, and that's not good for Oregon. You might be up in score, especially with Ryu Yamada dropping combos so early on, even if Siru is still full comboing, right? They're still going to be up in score, but with only Bashiman as the final remaining player for the full combo on the side of Oregon, like, when I think of Bashiman, I'm not thinking of consistency stream player. I'm thinking of, anything but that. So will he be able to hold strong here against the likes of Fame Time on the FC? The recovery from Ryu Yamada is looking really good. Nobody matching them, and Siru, for all we know, could be full comboing right now.
Yeah, I mean, this score lead is It's 650k, but 650k is really doable, right? If you're still full comboing, or if you have just a really solid score on this map, that's a very doable score here for Siru. So this could absolutely be enough if we see a good score from him to pull it back to the side of New Jersey. Maybe it's close, maybe it's not. We're not sure. I'm looking at the shakes on Fame Time right now. Somehow manages to keep it together there through the ending. Fame Time with the shakes does actually pull off. Oh, no, actually, I think that's a reverse choke. Or maybe choke the ending right at the end, and I didn't see it. But yeah, massive score there for Fame Time. And Boshiman, of course, with the only FC in the lobby with that one miss. Let's see what the score is for Siru.
Yeah, if we're able to get the verdict from what Siru's score was, he has to have a score over 646,514. 646,514 is the number to beat in order to have New Jersey win this point. So we are going to wait and hope that it is just an intermittent internet problem for Siru. Very unfortunate when it does happen, but as he said, the players still, if they are just an internet disconnect, they still are playing through the map at the same time. So if we're able to compare the two times, as for when Siru has a screenshot for like when the map started, and compare that to when the map started actually during the match, then we will be taking that score. Otherwise, this is going to be a point for Oregon.
Yeah, should have an ending screenshot around 9:32 p.m. local time. So let's see here. Looks like they have it, so we'll see very soon. Checking general chat, and yeah, actually matches up exactly with the ending time on the MP link, 9:31 and 52 seconds in the PM. 792,000 points for Siru, and a win on the point for New Jersey. They put themselves on the board with an internet disconnect from Siru, leaving us in the dark through the course of the map, but 790k is more than enough to put it on the board for them.
Yeah, absolutely more than enough, by about 100,000, 130,000 and some change here, as Oregon going into what you and I had predicted to be the ban from New Jersey. Otherwise, they went with the Hidden 2, but Oregon going now into the Hard Rock 2. A little bit of a switch up from anything that we've seen so far. Mostly we've just seen mechanics here in the previous picks, with, you know, Hidden 1 being like fake mechanics, I guess. But this is going to be like proper gimmick here on the Hard Rock. You got the swing and a lot of uncomfortable rhythms and patterns to aim, so definitely screams like an Oregon pick, and I do think that they are going to do well in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of right up their alley, right? If you're a gimmick team, if you like picking unconventional stuff, something like swing alt control Hard Rock is really up your alley for the most part. Not necessarily because that's something that your team is going to be fantastic on, but because it's something that basically every other team is going to kind of suck at. It's just really, really hard to be consistent on. There's a lot of, as Dada says, cancer patterns in maps like this, and this one's no exception. There's some really, really tricky patterns in this map that are very easy to miss aim just a little bit, lose tempo on, and kind of struggle to regain composure on for a lot of players. So we'll see if that applies to New Jersey this time around, and if Oregon can hold it together, or if New Jersey can stage a comeback here with a slightly different roster. Rinse, Ryu Yamada, and Fame Time in for New Jersey. Bashi, Tynamo, Eddie. First time we see Oregon captain Tynamo here for this map.
Yeah, Tynamo coming in here. Always love to see Tynamo, fellow commentator. Also pretty cool mapper, and turns out a pretty good player as well. Eddie is an interesting one for me. I do understand that Eddie as a player is very good at Hard Rock picks. like 9 times out of 10, I think Eddie is going to be one of your go-to Hard Rock players here for this Oregon team. But this is the kind of map where I could see Eddie struggling a little bit. Now, I'm not fully sure if that's going to be the case, but I would have expected potentially like Schwartz over Eddie on something like this.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree, but we'll just have to see how well it works out for both of these teams. No early drops. There goes Ryu Yamada, though, as the first break for either team. Fame Time missing right afterwards for the side of New Jersey. And Bashi actually to follow it up within the first KI time. The first quarter here, spelling doom for 3 out of 6 combos already. Dynamo, Eddie, Rinse still holding on to the FCs for either side, but that's 2 for Oregon, 1 for New Jersey, and about 100,000 score lead coming up on that mark here for Oregon soon.
Yeah, 3 combos gone, and the score lead's already, like, as much as it is, 100,000 almost, as you said, is really scary for New Jersey, but very easy to come back so long as these recoveries can maintain to go forward here from Ryu Yamada and Fame Time. There's just a slight misread from Fame Time, and unfortunately a misaim too as I'm talking about him. Very, very unfortunate timing. That is just going to help propel Oregon forward here with the score lead that they have for themselves. Now climbing over 100,000 more on top of what we just saw just previously. So going into the second KI with 2 full combos still versus Renz. Washi Man on the recovery here. And will anybody be missing?
3/4 of the way in, and still the double FC here for Eddie and Dynamo. Eddie looking really good, and yeah, nah, it's over. Rinse and Ryu Yamada and Fame Time all break him right there for New Jersey. Dynamo finally drops, but Eddie still holding strong. The only FC, the only one with over 100 combo right now. 97.7 AC as well. Question the inclusion a little bit, but shut up any sort of questioning about him being in for this map. The only FC, the biggest score by a wide margin. Over 1 million score for Eddie alone, and 600,000 points ahead is Oregon on this Hard Rock 2. Absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, I may have had my doubts, but I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that Eddie is an insanely good Hard Rock player, and he did go forward and just completely make me eat my own words. So very, very impressive team score from Oregon. Almost the two-way FC. Dynamo unfortunately falling short towards the end of the map, but Eddie just holding strong and keeping Oregon here that much closer towards this match point now. They only need 1 more pick here to get themselves to match point, so not necessarily the end of the world here for New Jersey. These breakpoints have started to calm down a little bit. With New Jersey, you have to imagine they go into something like the double time 1, the double time 3. I think it's a little scary, especially against some of these mechanics players on Oregon, but I really do think that New Jersey just has to stick with their guns and understand that they are a good mechanics team at the end of the day, and they are definitely more than capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the mechanics players on Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is, like, if you're looking at where you have found success already, it's been mechanics, yeah, sure, on the Nomad 2, but then you also kind of want to look at the ban, right, from Oregon on the DT1. Do you potentially want to go for something a little more aim focused here? Because if you lose this pick, your opponent has next pick, it's match point, you probably just lose the match 5-1, right? So this pick needs to be a win for New Jersey. I think DT1 is probably their best option, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them switch it up and go for something like the Nomad 1 or potentially something a little different. But no, it is just going to be the DT1 after all. Requiem for a Nightmare by Soundholic. This is just kind of general DT consistency overall, if I remember right. Might be confusing it with a different pool I'm casting this weekend, but I'm pretty sure this is just kind of speed general test, not necessarily pure tapping, not necessarily aim, just a little bit of both.
This one's pretty straightforward for I think it's like the first half or the first third or something, but around like the halfway mark or the first third, it turns more of from just like a general consistency map into more of like a finger control style map. There's like doubles and some patterning of even numbers, not odd number patterning. So some more finger control elements that get added in as the map goes along. So definitely a little bit more than just a generalized consistency DT pick here. But we are going to see Schwartz come in for Oregon. So I do think the third player is probably going to be Eddie, probably just practicing the map. Rinko Shirokane as well in the lobby, and yeah, here comes Eddie. Siryu Fametime and Ryu Yamada, as we have come to expect for these mechanics-based picks from New Jersey. Will New Jersey be able to get a second point on the board? Definitely need to in order to not get into a scary situation here. But map number 5.
All right, let's see it. Good Luck Have Funds are out. Same mechanics roster as usual for both these teams. It's worked out once of twice so far for New Jersey. Can they make it 2 for 3 on these mechanics speed picks? One much closer in BPM to the Nomad 4 that we saw earlier, but definitely a lot more finger control focused on this map, a little different in terms of how it's executed. Why is Eddie's background a random seasonal Osu background? What is happening? What is going on? I've never seen that before,
really
where
sure.
the map has loaded correctly, but the background is wrong? Huh? Like on tournament client, I've never seen that before. On normal client, I've seen that where like I have a map, I update it, the background gets changed. Okay, I have the wrong background, or like a default background loads for me instead of the real one. But like now it's just on tournament client? Really?
Yeah, a little bit confusing, but thankfully it's not going to be any big change here as far as gameplay goes. But what is going to be a little bit of a different here look from New Jersey is Siryu dropping the first combo for them. Rinko Shirokane did end up dropping combo pretty early on, but Siryu does end up trading that, so that is going to negate the score lead that New Jersey otherwise would have gotten had Siryu not dropped. Accuracies, it's really just Rinko Shirokane struggling. You've got the 97s on Siryu and Fametime and Ryu Yamada on the 98, but you have these two 99s on the side of Eddie and Schwartz, Luna's Tabby. But this is where the finger control section starts, and this is really going to make or break some of these accuracies from these players. I do think that we will start to see some players falter more than others. But so far, still no more breaks. Or it does switch back over to New Jersey here. Accuracy's dropping now for Oregon as Luna's Tabby finally ends up dropping their full combo. Down goes Eddie, and that is 0 full combos on the side of Oregon now. It's just Rinko Shirokane on this solid recovery, but not the full combo versus Fametime Ryo Yamada, and it is going to be Fametime dropping now on one of these difficult finger control sections. There goes Ryo Yamada, but the damage has been done. 110,000 is the score difference, and Rinko Shirokane versus Siryu on the recoveries, basically 1-to-1 matching each other, but Eddie and Schwartz are getting a little bit more recovery going now for themselves, but this is a long map. We're like halfway through, so there's time to get this score lead back, but 100,000 is tough, but you need some more misses from the side of New Jersey. And Siryu drops right before the break. That is what Oregon needed to get back into this. 80,000 points here separating the two teams. A very unfortunate miss from Siryu. Absolutely needed to hold on to that recovery, but now it's Rinko Shirokane going largely uncontested here.
Yeah, and Luna's Tabby also on a big combo right now for Oregon. There's more than enough time for Oregon to bring this back. Another miss for Ryo Yamada, and just like they build it up, it all falls down again for New Jersey. The misses come through at inopportune times. The combo is held for Oregon, And Rinko Shirokane and Luna's Tabby bring it back for Oregon once again to take another breakpoint on these speed mechanics picks. And Pigeon, I fear the worst for New Jersey here. Oregon, they're going to be up 4-1. It's match point. They have the next pick, and this now is looking a little bit rough if you are New Jersey. These speed mechanics picks just have not worked out. They are 1 for 3 on the tapping picks, and it's the 200 BPM stream map they end up winning, not even either of the actual speedier picks. So New Jersey, unfortunately, either just outmatched by Oregon or misreading where their mechanical strength lies on the day. I know Siru said he's playing from a scuffed setup as well, so potentially a little unlucky with the timing and scheduling on the match, or just with Siru not able to play from a normal setup. But it's looking rough now, and Oregon up 4-1. To their credit, have played really, really well. 830k from Rinko Shirokane on the one miss. Luna's Tabby with just a slider break, 700k there. So it's going real well for Oregon, and New Jersey in a very bad spot. They now need to win every map on from here.
Oh, and the rapid fire no mod 3. I was going to say I think it's just going to be a rapid fire on the free mod 3, but I didn't even think about no mod 3 as being an option. This is such an Oregon favored map, I feel like. They are so strong on some of this technical style of play that I do think Oregon might just close this one out here and now. This is a very rough spot for New Jersey to be in. Oregon just playing absolutely phenomenally today. This seed 12 here versus seed 5, I believe. And like, yeah, we go based off of ranking, but like, it's still, if Oregon is able to close this one out 5-1 in the fashion that they have done so, it's very, very scary having to go up against a team like this who is just firing on all cylinders and really feeling themselves no matter what skill set is being thrown at them.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate if you're high-ranking players and the mechanics roster is not working out here for New Jersey. Now, I think a lot of players on this team are kind of drafted around supplementing that. So, you know, you have the ability to play a lot of these other maps for New Jersey, but it's a little tricky to stage a comeback when your perceived strength for yourself is just not working out, right? It's not even a question of, oh, well, you know, are we going to be able to win some of these? It's how do we pivot, right? How do you pivot when your own perceived strength is not working out? Is it a question of, is it going into something a little bit trickier like this map? I mean, it's going to have to start here if they are to stage a comeback. So maybe if this map works out well for them, if they win this, they lean into some of the less conventional picks on the pool. Because let's face it, these speed mechanics picks just have not worked at all for them.
Yeah, definitely been very, very tough for New Jersey. I think that they are putting up decent scores on these speed mechanics picks, but just it's not enough to just put up good scores. You have to be matching the scores from Oregon, and these players on the side of Oregon have so much potential to just go the distance and drop multiple full combos on these kinds of maps. Of course, we've only really seen full combos coming out from Eddie earlier in this match, but as far as this one goes, we won't be seeing a full combo coming here from Rents. Is going to be the first fall from New Jersey in this first Ki section. No other players dropping just yet, but it could change very quickly, as is the nature of this Halgo map. All sliders for the most part, and Rents still struggling. Still no trades, and 150,000 points on a map as short as this. Yoshi over dropping now. 0 FCs on the side of New Jersey, and that's it. I mean, there's just no coming back.
That's GG. Yeah, nah, it's over. Pack it up, boys. It's done. That's gonna be it. Oregon 5-1, and let's just see what kind of style they can do it with here. Everyone hitting that stream diff spike into the second half of the map, and no breaks whatsoever so far. It's still the three-way FC for Oregon. Now coming up on 3/4 of the way into the map. Finally a drop from Luna's Tabby, but I mean, Addy and Bashi is still holding the FCs. Another stream diff spike comes and goes, and the combos are still intact for the both of them. And that is a massive team score on a Tech Nomad pick. 600k, probably 650k plus for Luna's Tabby by the end of the map. And a double FC for Bashi and Eddie is a massive team score for Oregon on this pick. 2.5 million to 1.2. They more than doubled New Jersey's team score on this last pick. 5-1 for Oregon. Wow. What a way to end it.
Yeah, what can you do? What can you even do when you're having to go against this team that is just looking so good and so dominant on every skill set? There wasn't a single map in this pool where they just looked weak on. Like, even the map that they lost on the tapping Nomad 4, Bashi Man of all people was FCing. Like, I don't know. Oregon very deservedly getting their victory here, maintaining their winners bracket run in this 2025 USC iteration. Is going to be New Jersey dropping down into the losers bracket. They did drop down into losers bracket last year in round of 32, so a little bit better here for them making it into the round of 16, but very unfortunate the way that they did drop into the losers bracket. As far as upcoming matches go, we've got multiple tonight. It's a whole block. I do believe we have 2 matches happening here in the next couple of minutes, if I can pull up the schedule.
Yeah, just trying to take a look at where New Jersey is going also here into the losers bracket. I don't see New Jersey in losers. Why don't I see New Jersey in losers? Where are they? What?
I'm not sure.
What happened? Are they just not linked? Is that match just not linked to the losers bracket?
I could pull up the challenge.
That's so weird.
But
anyway.
It is going to be on the B stream, or excuse me, on the A stream. We have Puerto Rico versus Florida. That is going to be a losers bracket match, I believe, and then Missouri and Hawaii going against each other on the B stream. So it's just a short break to separate the VODs, and we will get that going here in about 7 minutes from now. So come on back.
Yeah, that's it for us for now. Go grab a snack and tune back in just a moment for Florida versus Puerto Rico and Hawaii versus Missouri. I'm Dio. He's Pigeon. Thanks all for watching. Congrats to Oregon.